In Arizona in 1878, a misspelled line on a piece of paper could kill more people than a gunshot. Taza, a notorious warrior, is about to lose his tribe's last remaining lifeline due to a death sentence he didn't commit. And Clara, the daughter of the tyrant who ruled the land, is the only one who holds the truth. The one with the ultimate survival skills is falling straight into a trap. And the woman who seemed like a mere commodity in a barter marriage holds the power to decide the fate of all. Once the railroad tracks are on my land, Silas snarled, this entire Cedar Pass will have to pay to cross Vane Creek. Hang that Apache before dawn. If Clara steps out, she will forever lose her family, the name Vane, and her safety. If she remains silent, a massacre will wipe out innocent people to make way for greed. Between a forged document and a blood-stained arrow, love is not a romantic elopement. It is a life or death exchange. Clara wasn't a young lady born to wear silk dresses and wait for a suitor. She grew up amidst the smell of horse sweat, the sound of whips, and the sight of cattle transport bills. She could read numbers before she could play the piano. But this morning, the numbers are lying. The north fence has never been repaired. And that enormous sum of money was withdrawn and given to the gunman, Pike Rusk, just one day before the survey team was attacked. This isn't for women, Clara, Silas snarled, his voice leaving no room for resistance. Clara looked up at her father, her chest heaving. I discovered the discrepancy in last season's cattle delivery contract and saved the farm from thousands of dollars in fines. And I also know that the north fence is still rotting. If you're really smart, Silas lowered his voice, you'll prepare dinner tomorrow. The cattle broker from Tucson is coming. A marriage to him will ensure Vane Creek survives this decade. Mistress, Mara spoke up, her voice hoarse and cracked. There are numbers that aren't used for calculating money. In this frontier region, they're used for burying people. "10 miles from Vane Creek Farm, the truth wasn't in signed papers. The truth lay in the ground. For Taza's Chiricahua Apache group, this canyon wasn't just wasteland. It was their only survival escape from the watchful eyes of the army and bounty hunters. An arrow stuck straight up in the open field. No claw marks from a fallen man. Taza analyzed in a low voice. They faked it too obviously. He looked down at the ruins. The wooden survey stakes were broken not with a stone axe, but with rifle butts. His enemies didn't even bother to hide their carelessness. Anger is the most contagious thing on the frontier, but history had taught Taza that bloodshed only added more lies to the enemy. His father and younger brother had once been hanged for horse theft accusations that never had any evidence. We won't let anyone turn us into monsters in Silas Vane's story, Taza commanded. Instead of blind revenge, Taza decided to wait. He had to find the mastermind before the mercenaries arrived. But he didn't expect that the first prey to surrender to the canyon would be the daughter of his greatest enemy. The sheriff hastily concluded it was a massacre by the natives. But Clara saw things that cowardice had obscured. The hoofprints around the camp were of the iron-hoofed kind, rarely used by the Apache horses hiding in the mountains. The arrowheads were too obvious, a clumsy display of evidence, and this piece of Rain's. It's the high-quality leather only found in the warehouses of Vane Creek Ranch. Taza wasn't like the bloodthirsty savages her father used to tell stories about. But he carried the death of the frontier. Have you come to gather more evidence? Taza's voice was deep and hoarse, cutting through the wind. Or to learn how your father lies. If you're innocent, you should go find evidence instead of standing here threatening me. Clara retorted. Taza stepped down a stone step, a bitter smirk on his face. Your evidence lives in the offices where people sign the papers. My truth lies on the ground. Your people only believe the first. Clara knew the attack was just the tip of the iceberg. She spread the old map flat on the table, placing it next to the new cadastral copy she'd just stolen from her father's room. She held her breath. Everything was laid bare in the dim light. Your father didn't just orchestrate an attack. He's stealing land. Maribel entered, carrying a tray of water. Seeing the ink line on the paper, her eyes narrowed. On this border, Clara, a single wrong line can cost a lifetime. Silas looked at his daughter with a sharp, suspicious gaze, but said nothing. He turned and left. Clara needed to know what Taza meant by "the truth lies on the earth." She took the map, but didn't hand it over immediately. Trust was a luxury in this land, and she wanted him to prove it. This is the only safe passage for the women and children of my tribe to survive while the army is searching, Taza said in a somber voice. And it's being stolen. Clara unfolded the original map. On Silas's new map, all these life-saving landmarks were erased, flattened into the cold inscription, "Unclaimed Wasteland." Love doesn't come from romantic glances. It begins with respect. Clara looked at the land like someone who knows how to read and ledger. Taza read the land like someone who lives off it. Two pieces of truth were finally put together, but in the eyes of those who have been betrayed, a white man carrying papers is always more dangerous than one carrying a gun. Clara knew a fake survey map wasn't enough. She needed to know why. Why would her father resort to such underhanded tactics, framing and falsely accusing others to seize a barren canyon? The truth lay in these papers, and it was colder than any gun barrel. The contract stated, if Silas Vane could prove Black Mesa Cut belonged to Vane Creek and had been cleared of Native American encroachment, the railroad company would grant him exclusive rights to establish a cattle transit station. He didn't just want to steal land. He wanted a monopoly on the entire cattle transport route. Every small farm around Cedar Pass would have to pay fees or be driven into bankruptcy. Taza's group were merely pawns, framed to legitimize the expulsion. Clara had found the motive for the crime, but she didn't know that the shadows of Vane Creek always had eyes. Pike didn't capture Clara that night. He was too cunning. He let her think she was safe, then used her continued contact with Taza to set a trap. A forged text message. I have proof. Meet me at Dry Spur Wash. Came with a piece of Clara's dress as bait. There's no room for naivete on the frontier, and the price of trust is often paid in blood. I told you, Joro roared in agony. The Vane family offers no way out. They only have guns. Taza looked at the lace fabric buried in red mud. The newly formed alliance had been brutally severed by betrayal. At the same time, at the farm, Clara realized she had fallen into a trap. You'll marry the Tucson broker in 3 days, Silas coldly declared. And your Apache? I'll hang him for sabotaging the railroad. Confined. But Clara knew she couldn't give up. An old survey map wasn't enough. To overthrow Silas Vane before the judge, she needed the ledger recording the bribes, the secret railroad contract, and the sheriff's forged arrest warrant. If you want to save him, Mara whispered outside the door, don't beg him to believe you. Give him something Silas can't deny. Clara wrote to Taza, if you still hate me after you get the ledger. Tonight, Black Mesa Cut will be lost before dawn. Joro wanted to burn the letter. He no longer trusted anyone with the Vane name. Taza didn't know if he should trust Clara or not, but he knew for sure that if Silas completed the paperwork by tomorrow morning, the Chiricahuas would never again have a way through the canyon. Taza stood up and loaded his gun. He was returning to Vane Creek Ranch tonight, not for a fleeting love, but for the survival of his tribe. Silas was preparing to erase all evidence, but he didn't know that tonight his daughter had decided to abandon the name Vane. Taza wasn't entering Vane Creek as a suicide bomber. He was following the path Clara had laid out. For an Apache warrior to bet his life on the words of a white woman, that wasn't just recklessness, it was a belief that cost a life. Their reunion was devoid of romantic kisses. Between them lay the boundary of life and death. "If I had betrayed you," Clara whispered, her voice as hard as steel, "I would have had my father burn this thing this morning." Taza gazed deeply into her eyes. The wound from the fabricated betrayal at Dry Spur Wash had healed. He chose to believe in actions, not the lies of the frontier. Silas Vane was a cunning old wolf. He never left his prey in the same place once he sensed danger. Clara understood her father. Silas would hide the notebook where he thought women would never dare venture at night. The horse shed, among the leather saddles reeking of sweat and ammunition. Silas forgot that his daughter had grown up on this farm. The truth was in his grasp, but the escape wasn't. "If you die here, young lady," Pike hissed, baring his teeth, "your father will tell the whole town that the wild Apache broke in and slaughtered his own daughter." Gunshots rang out. Flames blazed high. The entire Vane Creek Ranch awoke. "Clara, put the notebook down!" Silas's voice roared like thunder, shaking the yard. "Otherwise, I'll bury you both under the name of traitor." Protecting the farm doesn't mean stealing someone else's livelihood and calling it law, Clara screamed. He thought she was weak, but he taught her how to calculate, and now she's using those very numbers against him. Silas Vane's empire was built on manipulation and absolute power. And now, that mask is crumbling before his own employees. Silas has lost control. Despair has turned him into a bloodthirsty beast Taza could have shot. But Clara held his hand back. "Don't shoot," she whispered amidst the howling wind. "Don't give my father the chance to turn you into the beast in his story." In the gunpowder-filled farmyard, they understood. Killing Silas wasn't the way to win. Exposing the truth was what would end him forever. The enemy never gives up on their prey as long as they have guns. In Vane Creek, justice cannot be decided among wolves. "Go!" Taza roared, supporting Joro and pushing Clara and Mara onto their horses. Clara had the notebook, but Taza knew the terrain. He knew the soft patches of earth that could swallow hoofprints in the darkness, the sharp bends where rifles couldn't hit their target. Clara wasn't as skilled at riding as an Apache warrior on this rugged terrain. She was nearly thrown off balance when the black-maned horse slipped on the gravel, but her hands clutched Joro's blood-stained ledger. That ledger held their lives. They were cornered, right on the very edge of the Black Mesa Cut's true survey territory. But Taza wasn't looking for cover. He was searching for the voice of this land. The truth no longer lies alone in numbers. It's confirmed by the earth, by the boulders, by the original markers. "If you're no longer a Vane," Silas hissed through clenched teeth, his finger trembling on the trigger, "you're nothing." With just a squeeze of his hand, Taza could end the source of all suffering, avenge his group, save the woman he loves. He aimed accurately. Every muscle was taut like a bowstring. But if Taza killed a white rancher now, all the evidence would be buried immediately. A new story would be written. Apache massacred landowners to steal their property. For the first time, a warrior learned to win with truth instead of just guns. Owen didn't become a hero by chance. He was forced to do the right thing because the evidence had locked down all escape routes. Send copies of this to the county judge in Tucson and the railroad company office, Clara ordered coldly. You know what will happen if these pages disappear. Clara turned to look at her father one last time. No more tears, no more concessions. Perhaps, she replied, her clear voice carried on the early morning breeze. But I will not live another day by your lies, Father. Owen wasn't cleared of any wrongdoing. The land grab was thwarted. But the harsh reality of the frontier remained. The railroad would arrive sooner or later. The old world of the Chiricahua Apache was shrinking day by day. Taza decided to lead his group deeper into the northern mountains for a while. But this time, they weren't leaving as hunted. They were leaving with the truth in their hands and their honor intact. Clara looked at Black Mesa Cut, the barren ravine where the railroad hadn't yet reached. But blood had nearly been spilled because of greed. She turned to Taza, a radiant smile of true freedom on her face. Gray clouds gathered. A light shower, a rare early season rain in Arizona, began to fall. Rain falls on the red dust, slowly washing away the chaotic hoofprints of last night. But it will never erase the truth that has been carried away. The railway will eventually run through Cedar Pass, but on that historic night, before the steel of the new era could touch the earth, a farm girl and an Apache warrior proved a truth. Not every line drawn by those in power is stronger than the truth. Thank you for stopping by and listening to tonight's story. On the harsh frontier, there are paths not defined by power or forged ink, but opened by courage and truth. If this journey touched your heart, please like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next stories. Your support is the flame that keeps the journeys in the Wild West warm. Have a peaceful night and see you again.